Good morning, dear students. We are in class 10, chapter 6, Life Processes. In the last class, we have discussed about how the nutrition process takes place in autotrophs. In today's class, let us move on to the another side heading, heterotrophic nutrition. In today's class, let us discuss more about how the nutrition process takes place in heterotrophs. If you observe carefully the different types of organisms in the nature, you can see that all these organisms are adapted to its environment, and this is why they follow different types of nutrition process. What is adaptation? Adaptation is nothing but they have some specialized characters, specialized features. Their body structure is meant to survive in that environment. That is adaptation. Like that, uh, different organisms follow different types of nutrition. That depends upon which type of food they take, what is the availability of the food material they will get, and how they obtain these food materials. So the nutrition process depends upon the type of nutrition process, availability of the food, and how it is obtained by the living organisms. See, some aquatic animals, they can't they are living in water, so they can't follow the herbivores nutrition type. So what they eat, if let me take the example of fish. What is the food of fish? Fishes eat the small fishes and the alga and the things available, small fishes and some other small organisms and water, etc. They can't follow the nutrition way of herbivores and all, like that, because for these living organisms, they won't get the plants and all, they won't get the animals. They are living in water. That is why they follow different type of nutrition process as compared to the organisms living on the ground. In the textbook, you can take the example, you can see the example of cow and lion. So the cow obtain the food which is obtained by plant, and these lions are gets its nutrition by the animal source. So there is difference in nutrition process. And how the cow takes its food. Cow will go near to the grass and they will eat. They obtain the nutrition from the stationary source, whereas the lion will hunt and kill its prey and eat. This is how the nutrition differs in these two animals. And in you can see there is wide range of strategies in the way of taking the nutrition by the organisms. See, some organisms, they will break down the food materials outside the body. Like for example, if you take the example of these decomposers, mushroom, fungi and all, molds on the bread, they will just get its nutrition from the dead and decaying material, and they just absorb the nutrients from these materials. And one more example, inside the body, in our stomach, some living bacteria are present, and some parasites are there. What is that? Tapeworm. How the nutrition takes place in tapeworm? It just absorb the nutrients from our stomach. So it is dependent on us. So the process of nutrition takes place outside the body. It just absorb the nutrients. There is no any there is no any digestion process takes place inside the body. The process of nutrition takes place outside the body. Whereas some organisms like human beings, animals and all, they will obtain the nutrition. How? By they will take the food materials as a whole, and they will break down inside the body, and they will absorb the nutrients from it. And there is one more type of living organisms. They don't kill the animals, or without harming the organisms, they will get its nutrition. How? They are depends upon some other organisms. Who are they? Parasites depends on other living organisms. They absorb the nutrients from the other organisms like cuscuta, ticks, lice, leeches and tapeworms. Since the way of taking the nutrition obtained is different, the digestive system is also differ in various organisms. Let us see how do the organisms obtain their nutrition in detail. The nutrition process follows mainly the 5 steps. In case of unicellular organisms and in case of multicellular organisms, all the living organisms follow all these common steps. Which are they? They are ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. The process of intake of food is known as ingestion. Digestion. What is digestion? Digestion is a process where the food material taken in is converted into simpler forms. And absorption means absorption of the nutrients from the food material what we have taken during the digestion process. Assimilation means transporting the nutrients and the required materials throughout the body. Egestion means the removal of the waste material from the body. Throwing out of the body is known as egestion. In the single-celled organisms like amoeba and paramecium, all these functions are achieved by a single cell. In the single-celled organisms, the food is taken by the entire surface of the body. But this is not happens in case of the other organisms, in multicellular organisms. In the multicellular organisms, the structure is complex. That is why as the complexity of the organisms increases, the different parts become specialized to perform different functions. So let us discuss how the nutrition process takes place in amoeba. Amoeba is a single-celled organisms. The food they take in the food by making use of the body surface. If you see the structure of amoeba, in the outer surface you can see the finger-like projections that we call it as pseudopodia. Whenever it requires the food, it extends this finger-like extensions and it fuse over the food, and it will take in the food through that surface, and it will form the food vacuole. In the food vacuole, the complex substance will convert it into simple substance. It will break down the substance and take in the nutrition, and the food is diffused throughout the body into the cytoplasm. The remaining undigested food is moved to the surface of the cell, to the outer surface of the cell, and it is thrown out. Another example for unicellular organism nutrition is paramecium. Paramecium is also unicellular organisms. The cell has the definite shape. This paramecium have the definite shape, and the food is taken in at a particular spot in the body. The food is taken into a particular spot in the body, like how we take the food through the mouth, like that the food is taken to a specific spot, and it follows all the nutrition steps, which are they: ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and ingestion. So the food is moved to the food it ingests the food, and it digests, and it absorbs the nutrients, and the absorbed nutrients is spread throughout the body by the movement of cilia. There is a particular organ in the body, there is particular thing in the body. Cilia spreads the food throughout the body, so it covers the entire surface of the body. Then the remaining undigested food is thrown out of the body through egestion. Now let us discuss about how the nutrition process takes place in human beings. So the nutrition, the food what we take directly, we won't get the nutrition. It has to we have to go through some process. The body, since our body structure is complex, and we eat the food which is a complex material, the body, it has to go through some process. So this process, the nutrition process, can be done through the digestive system or the alimentary canal, or it is also known as gut. Now let us see what are the parts of this digestive system, how each part contribute in the process of nutrition. Let us learn in detail. In the above picture, you can see the different parts of digestive system. They are mouth, esophagus, stomach, liver, pancreas, small intestine, large intestine, and anus. These are the parts of digestive system. Human beings, especially, we eat various types of food materials, and it has to pass through the digestive tract. So the food has to be processed to generate the small particles into the same texture. So this is achieved by the action of buccal cavity, which includes action of tongue, teeth, and the saliva, which is secreted by the salivary glands. So the food what we taken is converted into simpler form, and which has the same texture, that we call it as bolus. So this bolus is a converted simpler form of the food material what we took. So it can easily pass through the esophagus or the food pipe, which is very soft, and then it continues with the esophagus, the food pipe. The mouth is connected to the food pipe. Then after the food pipe, there we can see the food will enter the stomach. The food pipe, esophagus, helps to transport the food from the mouth to the stomach. Then the stomach contain different acids. Then the food will mix with the different acids, and it will transfer to the small intestine. While it entering the small intestine, it will reacts with the it can be processed by the action of enzymes, and some bile juice and pancreatic enzymes, and it will convert it into simpler form, and it will release the carbohydrates. It will absorb the it will separate the carbohydrates, proteins and fat from the food what we take. It will convert the food into simpler form, and it will absorbed by the blood vessels, and it is absorbed through the blood vessels. Then the remaining food is transferred to the large intestine. In the large intestine, the large intestine will absorb the water from the material which is entered into the large intestine, and then the remaining unwanted things are passed through the anus. Anus is the end of the alimentary canal. Now let us discuss in detail how this nutrition process takes place in each stages. So the nutrition process starts in the mouth. The food what we take will mix with the saliva. What happens because we eat complex, the food what we eat is a complex material. It has to be crushed. It has to be chewed properly. It has to be made it very simpler form, and it has to be mixed with the saliva. Why saliva? Because it has to pass through the food pipe. The food pipe is very soft, so if the food is dry, it can the food pipe cannot pass this food to the stomach. That is why. And this saliva contains enzymes. What is the role of this enzyme? The saliva contains an enzyme, biochemical enzyme called salivary amylase. What is the role of this enzyme? It breaks down the starch. The food is what we take contains starch. It breaks down the starch, which is a complex molecule, to give the sugar. So what is the role of enzymes? Enzymes will convert the complex material into simpler form. So through some biochemical reactions. So enzyme is a biological catalyst. Another aspect of mixing the food material in the saliva so that it can be absorbed by the food pipe, so it can pass to the stomach easily. Then in the mouth, the food is crushed and mixed thoroughly with the saliva, muscular tongue and muscles, and it is necessary to move the food in the regulated manner along the digestive tube so that it can be processed in each part. The food pipe has the linings. Now the food material enters the stomach through peristaltic movement occurring all along the gut. Throughout the alimentary canal, the food is passed by the peristaltic movement. What is this peristaltic movement? Peristaltic movement is nothing but there is continuous contraction and expansion throughout the pipe when the food passes through each stages. There is expansion and contraction while the when the food passes through the pipe. The lining of the canal has the muscles that contracts. The lining of the canal has the muscles that contracts rhythmically in order to push the food forward. So this movement is known as peristaltic movement that takes place in each part of the alimentary canal. From the mouth, the food is transported to the stomach through the food pipe or the esophagus. This stomach expands when the food enters to it. So the muscular walls of the stomach helps in mixing the food with digestive juices. The stomach produces different digestive juices in order to mix the food, in order to make the food, in order to break down the food into simpler form. The muscular wall of the stomach helps in mixing the food thoroughly with the more digestive juices. The stomach produces different kinds of digestive juices. Especially, it releases hydrochloric acid to in order to give the acidic in order to create the acidic medium for the food. And also the digestion function is also taken care by the gastric glands present in the wall of the stomach. There are gastric glands that protects the wall of the stomach. These digestion function are taken care by the gastric glands present in the wall of the stomach. Means in the wall of the stomach there are gastric glands that takes care the digestion function. Means when to collect the food material and when to transport it to the small intestine, like that. And the stomach releases hydrochloric acid, a protein digesting enzyme called pepsin, and mucus. It releases hydrochloric acid and protein digesting enzyme called pepsin and mucus. What are the role of these things? These pepsin and mucus are the enzymes. This hydrochloric acid, what is the role of hydrochloric acid? Hydrochloric acid creates the acidic medium which facilitates the action of enzyme pepsin. See, in the stomach, still the food material will be converted into simpler form. So it is done by the enzyme pepsin. Also, during that process, this hydrochloric acid creates the acidic medium for the smooth functioning of the digestion process. Per day, the stomach almost produces 1 to 2 liters of hydrochloric acid. So when it is the time for lunch, when you are hungry, the stomach starts producing the hydrochloric acid. And this hydrochloric acid also, it will kill the bacteria present in the food material or in the stomach. It kills the bacteria present in the stomach. And what is the role of this mucus? Mucus protects the inner lining of the stomach from the action of acid under normal condition. This mucus protects the inner lining of the stomach by the action of hydrochloric acid. So sometimes the stomach produces more hydrochloric acid. This can be neutralized by the mucus. In the next stage, the food will enter the small intestine, and there is some regulatory system. This regulation of entering the small intestine can be controlled by sphincter. Okay, sphincter muscle is present near the stomach and small intestine. Like how the water tap controls the allowance of water, like that this sphincter muscle regulates the movement of this food into the small intestine. By the action of sphincter muscle, the food enters the small intestine from the stomach. This small intestine is the longest part of the alimentary canal. It is segregated within a small space. It occupied in the small space. It is a coil-like structure. If you see, it is a coil-like structure. It is fitted into the small compact space. And the length of this small intestine differs in various animals depending on the type of food they eat. In case of herbivores, they eat grass and plants. So they has to digest the cellulose. So they need longer small intestine. So it is difficult to digest cellulose. So it need longest small intestine. But in case of carnivores like lion, their food is meat and they will kill the animals and eat. So it is not difficult to digest the meat and all. That is why it does not require such a longer small intestine. Its small intestine is, the size of the small intestine of carnivores is small compared to herbivores. The role of small intestine is very important in the digestion process. So this is a place where the complete digestion of carbohydrates, proteins and fats takes place. For this purpose, it receives the secretions of liver and pancreas. The food coming from the stomach is acidic, so it has to be made alkaline. For this purpose, it receives the bile juice to convert them into alkaline. And also this bile juice is released from the liver, and in nearby liver there is one more thing. There is gallbladder. The juice, the bile juice released by the liver is stored in the gallbladder. The gallbladder stores the bile juice. So when the small intestine required during the digestion process, this gallbladder releases the bile juice. So bile juice is passed from this small intestine receive the bile juice from the gallbladder whenever it requires. And this bile juice also acts on the fats. The fats present in the intestine in the form of large globules. So it is difficult to react with enzymes. The large globules difficult to react with enzymes. So what is the role of this bile? This bile juice break them down into smaller globules, and in order to increase the efficiency of this fats to react with enzymes. This bile juice helps them to break down this into smaller globules in order to increase the efficiency of a reaction with enzymes. This is similar to emulsifying the action of soaps on the dirt. Okay, this the fats are emulsified by the action of bile juice in order to increase the efficiency of enzymes on them. What is the role of enzymes? Enzymes will convert the food material into simpler form. Also, there is one more part in the digestive system, that is pancreas. Pancreas also secretes pancreatic juice. So it contains the enzymes like trypsin, and it contains the enzymes like trypsin and one more lipase. This trypsin digests the proteins and lipase for breaking down the emulsified fats. The enzyme trypsin will digest the protein. The trypsin helps to digest the protein from the food, and lipase helps to break down this emulsified fats. And also the walls of the small intestine contains glands. The surface wall of the small intestine is wide in order to absorb all the required carbohydrates, proteins and fats from the food what we eat. The walls of the small intestine contain glands which secretes intestinal juices. In the small intestine walls also releases intestinal juices. The enzymes present in them finally convert the proteins to amino acids. The enzymes present in the small intestine will convert the proteins to amino acid, complex carbohydrates into glucose, and fats into fatty acid and glycerol. So these all things takes place in small intestine. First the food enters the small intestine. It receives the bile juice. Since the food that is received from the stomach is in acidic media, in order to convert them into alkaline, it receives the bile juice. The food is now mixed with the bile juice, and in order to increase the efficiency of reaction with the enzymes, the bile juice helps them. The fats are since the fats are present in the intestine are in the form of large globules. This bile juice convert them into small globules, so that it increases the efficiency of enzymes to act on them. So this emulsified fats are then there is one more part, that is pancreas, that also secretes the pancreatic juice. That also secretes the pancreatic juice. Enzymes like trypsin helps to convert the protein. Trypsin helps for digesting the proteins, and lipase for breaking down the emulsified fats. And also the wall of the small intestine contains the glands that secretes the intestinal juice. The enzymes present in the food is finally converted into proteins to amino acids, complex carbohydrates into glucose, and fats into fatty acid and glycerol. Now the food is turned into a simpler form so that the body can absorb the food. So this digested food is taken up by the walls of the small intestine. The small intestine has a large surface area, and the inner lining of the small intestine has the numerous finger-like projections called villi, which increases the surface area for absorption. So what is the final role of this small intestine? There is, if you observe carefully, there is numerous finger-like projection you can see, that we call it as villi. So this villi, what is the role of this villi? This absorbs the required carbohydrates, proteins, everything from the food, and it will supply it into blood vessels. So the blood vessels are connected to the small intestine. The absorbed nutrients are supplied to all parts of the body through the blood vessels. So the body can utilize it for obtaining the energy, in order to build up the muscles, tissues, in order to repair the tissues, in order to maintain the structure. The body utilize this nutrition, and then the unabsorbed food is sent to the large intestine. The remaining, whatever remained unabsorbed food is remained in the small intestine, that can be passed into the large intestine. What happens in the large intestine? The large intestine absorb the water from the food, absorb the water from this material, and rest of the food is transferred to the anus through the rectum. The remaining food, the rest of the material, is removed from the body through the anus. This exit of the waste material is regulated by the anus sphincter. So at the end also there is tap like structure, that there is a ring like structure, that we call it as sphincter muscle. This sphincter muscle regulates the exit of the waste material from the body. This is how the nutrition process takes place in our body, in the human beings. Dear students, today we have discussed about how the nutrition process takes place in heterotrophs. Please go through the textbook, read it once and try to clarify your doubts. In the next class, let us see another life process in detail. Thank you, students.